following program is exclusively produced and distributed by Dick Dinman's Double D Productions, Inc., all rights reserved. Hi, Golden Age film fanatics, and welcome to DVD Classics Corner on the Air. My name is Dick Dinman, and our goal is to become your exclusive guide to the very best of the Golden Age classics coming out on DVD. We'll have reviews, breaking news of upcoming releases, plenty of surprise guests, and a special feature devoted to the great Golden Age film composers, which we call Cinemusic. So let's turn on the marquee and lights, camera, action. It's time for Dick's Picks, in which I get to shine the spotlight on one of my Dick's Picks of the week. Fans of the all-time king of Hollywood, Clark Gable, are over the moon about the fact that our friends at the Warner Archive have just released not one, but two immaculate Blu-ray restorations of Gable classics, each looking and sounding vastly superior to even their original theatrical releases. First, there's the bracingly naughty pre-code classic Red Dust, in which our boy Clark has to reckon with the romantic rivalry of both Mary Astor and hotter-than-hot Jean Harlow, whose rain barrel scene, take it from me, is one for the books. Then there are the fantastic Technicolor thrills of MOGAMBO, which is a remake of Red Dust in which Gable returns and must this time reckon with amorous advances of both Ava Gardner and Grace Kelly.
MOGAMBO, the new word in motion picture entertainment. MOGAMBO, unforgettable adventure in untamed Africa. Africa, known for centuries as the white man's graveyard. Yet into its belt and mountains went a crew of actors and technicians determined to return with the motion picture different, unlike anything ever brought to this screen. Clark Gable, in his best role since Gone with the Wind. Ava Gardner, more beautiful and more exciting than you've ever seen her. Grace Kelly, playing a part every woman secretly understands. The heat and fury of the jungle tears the veneer of civilization from these women, one from the high life of society, the other from the nightlife of New York. No holds are barred as they fall in love with a man who lives for adventure.
You can be nice and sweet when you want to, can't you?
How do you know? Maybe you spoke too soon.
I warn you. I'm looking. I'm searching. I really am.
I'll look with you for a little while.
What would give her the right to say things like that?
She saw us that day when we walked up on the porch.
You must forget that it ever happened. It was just, well, it was nothing.
You want me to forget it?
That's why you changed your mind about taking us on this trip.
Plus the fact that you're not in love with your husband.
You mustn't say that.
You are stuck, aren't you?
Once and for all,
You're jealous.
Shouldn't you examine your own emotions in that light?
Look, don't worry about me. I could be pea green with jealousy, and I couldn't be hacked up any worse than I am already. It's you we want to worry about. You know, this is no Sir Galahad who loves from afar. This is a two-legged boa constrictor.
MOGAMBO, the story of a love affair as adventuresome as the surroundings in which it happens. You travel along uncharted waterways on a suspenseful safari. You venture across the African veldt, alive with all manner of wild beasts. Just as the animal stampede in King Solomon's mines created a new high in screen thrills, MGM has now topped it with a blood-chilling spectacle, the Battle of the Gorillas, photographed for the first time in French Equatorial Africa.
Both perfect and pristine, frame-by-frame Blu-ray restorations of Red Dust and Mogambo are now available from the legendary fan favorite Warner Archive collection, even as we speak. Stay tuned for more Dick's Picks, coming up on DVD Classics Corner on the air very soon. Of the thousands of guests that I've had on this show, the warm and wonderful legendary star Jane Russell will always be one of my favorites, and you'll know why if you listen to her affectionate reminiscences of working with Clark Gable, Howard Hughes, and Marilyn Monroe. How was it working with Clark Gable?
He was the biggest tease that ever walked.
In what way?
He would just tease you. Any way he knew how. I had met him before, and actually what it was, I was dating Robert Waterfield, had been for some time, and then we broke up, and I started going with John Payne. John Payne had taken me to this producer's house, and the wife had been a very good friend of Clark Gable's wife that had died, had been in the air crash.
Carol Lombard.
And I got to meet him then. So, but then I never saw him until we started doing The Tall Men. But he remembered that I was there with John Payne, and so Robert Waterfield had come down to Mexico to see me, because I had been in Europe for 6 months before that, making another picture, and we hadn't gotten to see each other very much, and so he came down there, and he was across this patio talking to somebody on the set. We weren't working, it was free time. And Gable was sitting next to me, and he proceeded to start talking about John Payne. And don't you ever see John Payne anymore? And he was such a nice... And I looked at him, and I held up my fist, and I said, I'm going to kill you, shut your mouth. And he went right on laughing and saying John Payne. Well, he did it just so that Robert couldn't quite hear it, but he knew it was driving me crazy. And he also was doing this with everybody, a big tease. And Raoul and he were in a house together down there, and I was in another house with my stand-in and best friend, Carmen. Anyway, Raoul knew what he had been doing to everybody. So he found a de-skunked skunk, and he put it in Gable's bedroom, and when Gable, came in from work and was going to go in and take a shower, and he went back against the wall, and he's like, Raoul, Raoul, Raoul. And pretty soon, the door is kicked open, and Raoul is rolling one of his cigarettes and laughing his head off. And then he told us, and we were all thrilled that we got even with him somehow. So he was a lot of fun. He really was.
Well, what's interesting is I think you got together with him on The King and Four Queens. The King and Four Queens was produced by your company and Clark Gable's company.
Gable was hoping I would be in it, but the point was I could only be in so many pictures that we made. We needed some pictures that I wasn't in.
We pause now for station identification.
DVD Classics Corner on the Air is exclusively produced and released by Dick Dinman's Double D Productions, Inc. All rights reserved. Let's return to my conversation with Jane Russell. The beginning of your career, thanks primarily to Howard Hughes, is in many ways very strange, with movies that are made but held up for 7 years or 9 years. There's so much publicity about you, and it took forever for your first film to come out. It must have been...
Well, it's because of The Outlaw had that one scene with some cleavage in it.
Yeah.
No. The cameraman had noticed that and said, no, I don't think we can do this scene that way. I'm going to have to move. And so he moved, where I was taking the covers and putting them over Jack Butel when he was so sick. And that was the main reason. And now we're doing cleavage in the back.
Yeah. Here's the how did you deal suddenly with all of this attention after, a normal, I'm sure a normal upbringing? Suddenly you're thrust into the limelight. It must have been very rough on you in many ways.
Well, actually, before I had started working in a picture at all, I had been modeling with Tom Kelly.
Ah.
And so when the Russell Birdwell Company was supposed to be publicizing me, and so they sent me out with a photographer 5 days a week.
I
when
see.
I wasn't working.
Yeah.
And so it was just doing some more of what I'd already done.
I see.
It wasn't a big,
was not a big
change for me.
But what I'm thinking is, for instance, of another Russell, Gail Russell, who also had a big first film called The Uninvited, and somehow could not handle her success. There are a lot of people who fall by the wayside because they can't handle it. What do you think got you? What got you through these times was the fact that I guess you took it in your stride.
Well, I'm pretty practical.
Yeah, obviously.
And I was a Valley girl. I wasn't a Beverly Hills girl at all. Gable was a Valley guy. We just had our feet on the ground. And I had 4 brothers. I had 1 girl cousin, and we were surrounded by 12 boys.
Oh.
She had 6 brothers. I had 4, and Aunt Ruth had 2 other boys. And we were raised that way, so I was pretty used to all that.
Would you consider yourself a tomboy when you were young?
Oh, sure, absolutely. You have nothing but tomboys when you say you're a Valley girl. It was all horses out there, and we had 4 horses. We were raised with them, and the Valley was a gorgeous place in those days, but it was all country and alfalfa fields and horses and cows out in the pasture and houses sitting way back, and we had a beautiful house, but they absolutely refused to ever photograph it because I was supposed to be this poor little girl that was helping my mother with 5 children, and my father was dead.
Oh. Do you have a favorite film of yours that...
Oh, I think by far Gentlemen Prefer Blondes is the best one I got to do. I loved working with Bob Hope. I thought I'd died and gone to heaven when I got to work with him, because you did 2 takes, or, you did 1 take, and if there was a mistake, you did 2.
Yeah.
You weren't doing 90.
Well,
we worked on The Outlaw 9 months. It should have been made in 8 weeks.
Well, obviously Howard Hughes was not
a
director. But I have...
He was a very sweet man, but he was not a director.
I have heard, though, that if Howard Hughes gave his word was gold.
Oh, he did. He absolutely did.
Yeah, I've been told that he had a considerable amount of integrity.
Yes, he did.
And that's, what it's just amazing. The publicity that goes out about people like Howard Hughes it just seems to me to be so unfair.
People are writing books about him. They never met him, don't know him at all. It's just sickening.
Did you see the movie The Aviator?
Yes.
What did you think?
It was very good. Because Howard was a genius when it came to mechanical things. See, there's a lot of difference between being a director and dealing with people,
yes,
or mechanical things.
Yeah.
He when he was in that crash, a terrible crash,
yes,
after The Outlaw, he was in a hospital bed, and they still had to wind it up at the bottom of the bed if they wanted the head part to come up,
yes, yes.
And he just thought, no, this should be done electrically with a button. And it was done that way from then on.
Huh.
He was a genius that way.
Yes, obviously. And by the way, I have heard from quite a few people that Marilyn Monroe would never have gotten through Gentlemen Prefer Blondes if it hadn't been for you.
The press was really trying to turn us into enemies, and it was ridiculous because she was like a little sister.
No,
it was only her second movie that she had a starring role in, and they had never given her a dressing room on the lot.
Huh.
She had her first dressing room, and she came in way before I did, and was all ready, but was nervous about going out on the set. And her makeup man told mine, and I just said, okay, I'll go by. And I went by, and I said, come on, baby, let's go. We got about 10 minutes. And she'd go, oh, all right. And up she'd get, and we went on together. She was like a little sister.
But that's exactly what I mean. Many people have said she wouldn't have gotten through the film if you hadn't been so close to her.
Well, she got through a lot of others that she was late getting on the set, and people were sitting there fussing, and where the hell is she, and all this nonsense. Go by and get her.
Yeah. How did Howard Hawks treat her?
Well, she was working with her coach every single night before, the night before she was rehearsing, learning her lines, and working with the coach.
Yeah.
And the coach was on the set the next day. And Marilyn her head would immediately, after the scene, look to the coach. How did you like it, And you don't do that to Howard Hawks.
No.
So he had the coach put off the set. And Marilyn ran to her dressing room and cried.
Oh.
But she also did that when Daddy, the guy playing Daddy, Tommy Noonan, they'd had a kissing scene. And some guy came up to him and said, well, you just kissed Marilyn Monroe. Now, what was it like? And he looked up at the sky and he said, it was like being swallowed alive. Well,
Oh, my God.
She heard it and burst into tears and ran to her dressing room. I would have said to him, honey, you'd be so lucky. But she did. She was very sensitive, and she got her feelings hurt.
And very fragile.
And she'd had a terrible life before that.
As a matter of fact, I think Robert Mitchum knew her in the early days when
yeah, I think they were both working at Lockheed or something.
That's right.
During the war.
That's right. And I think Mitchum was a friend of her first husband.
Yeah.
So that's probably why he tried to protect her on
oh, sure.
on River of No Return.
Uh-huh.
I am so grateful for your spending this time. I wish you the very best, and all I can say is I can't think of an actress who is more fun to watch than you, because you have a way of standing up to every leading man. No one pushes Jane Russell around. And that, I'm serious, and that's a wonderful...
Well, I was raised around 12 boys. Come on.
Well, maybe that's the reason.
Sure, absolutely. I wasn't nervous about boys.
But it's a great... on screen, it's just so wonderful to watch. Back and forth. You give as good as you get. And that's a wonderful thing to witness. I thank you so much, Jane Russell, for taking the time. And I look forward to talking to you soon again.
Okay, Richard. Thank you very much. Okay, Dick.
Well, that's my show for today. DVD Classics Corner on the Air is conceived, written, produced, and directed by me, Double D. So,
Keep well, keep happy, and keep listening.